What's up, my Vital Pointers? This is Andrew Penzi. You're on Vital Point, and today we are gonna make the best smoked ribs you have ever had. So we're back in the kitchen. Let's do this. Okay, I'm just saying, I am the self-proclaimed rib master of the Northeast. I went to school in the South, and believe me, I know what a good rib tastes like, and I think I have mastered the art of cooking the ultimate rib. Let me take you through the process, and I'll show you what I used. I can never seem to figure out how to get me and all the food in the same shot. So, here's me, and there are the ribs. Okay, I started with vacuum-sealed baby back ribs. It's very important when you get these out of the package, make sure you take off the membrane off the back side of the ribs. Each rib has a membrane. Once you start peeling it, just kind of play around, you'll see it's a skin that just kind of peels right off. That gets kind of tough, and it's good to take that off in advance. I also go along and I trim off all the excess fat. Any big chunks of fat I see that I could easily trim off, I'll take them off. Then I hit it with a bunch of spices, and these ribs here have been soaking in the spices, a dry rub, for 24 hours. I'll show you what I used. All right, the basis for any good barbecue rub is sugar and salt. There you go. I use about 2/3 portion of sugar to 1/3 of salt. If you don't have some of these, no biggie. So I start off with some garlic, paprika, ginger, some fennel seeds add a real nice flavor. We got granulated onion, some chili powder, and if you like it hot, put in a little extra heat there, a little extra chili powder. Coriander is a great spice. Chinese 5 spice adds a unique twang to things. Some ground mustard adds a nice flavor. Orange peels, I always use a little bit of orange peels with my meat. It goes real well. If you have fresh orange, peel it. Just use the zest. That works the best. And then I'll mix all them up in a little container like this, give it a shake, and rub it on the ribs real good. Make sure you coat the meat really well, and if you have a little extra spice, it's no big deal. Just save it in your container here, it won't go bad. Maybe I use about a tablespoon of each of those spices with the sugar and salt mixture in there. Now, I'm a landscape architect, and when I went to school, I had this one irrigation teacher when we were in this intensive irrigation class, and everyone was stressing out about trying to figure out the calculations for to water the grass, and everyone's freaking out about it. So the teacher was like, hey everybody, listen, you're just watering grass. Relax, it's not a big deal. You have a little bit extra water, a little less water, it'll be just fine. So, kind of the same thing here. Listen, we're just making ribs. You can't go too wrong. Put a little extra spice of this or that, it's gonna be just fine. Look at this mouth-watering platter. Oh my gosh, I'm like so excited. Now listen, you wanna let the ribs rest and come to room temperature before throwing it out on the smoker. And also I got some water boiling over here behind me, and you wanna put some hot water in the pan so that it brings it up to temperature quick. Let's go check out the smoker scene. All right, tonight we are using the Weber Bullet smoker. It's a vertical smoker, and the way it works is I fill the bottom charcoal ring with, right now I have a mix of hardwood charcoal and regular charcoal briquettes. I find that doesn't matter a whole lot, but what I do like is the hickory chunk wood. I find that hickory just adds a really nice flavor that I really enjoy with the ribs. And then on top of that, I'm going to put these hot coals that I have cooking away here. Now the idea is the hot coals go on top because it'll cook slower to move down through the fire. If you put the hot coals on the bottom, it'll burn these right up. But if you put it this way, it just lasts a lot longer. Then I have the middle section here. This is the water pan under there. That gets filled with the hot water, and that acts as the buffer between the hot direct heat. The smoke kind of filters around the outside of the water pan and permeates the meat, so you're not getting direct heat on the meat. That's the key with this type of smoker. The ribs go on the racks there, and stack it all up, put the top on. I find this smoker tends to stay right around 220 degrees. That's its sweet spot. Now, I like to cook my ribs for between 6 and 7 hours. That is the ideal time frame. 6.5 hours, you are right in the money. They are just fall apart tender. You lift one end up, the other end's just gonna break off. That's the way I like them. With this sort of setup, I find I usually have to come out halfway through and fill up the water pan again. I don't want the water pan to get too dry or the ribs will get dry. Now at the same time you fill up the water pan, throw a couple more hickory chunks in there, keep that smoke cranking. After about 5 hours, I'll come check on these ribs. Just make sure they're not getting too hot and too dry. If so, I will put on a piece of tin foil that keeps them real moist without over browning the outside. About the 6-hour mark, I'll brush on the barbecue sauce. And let me tell you, it's gonna get hot and sticky and bubbly and just wonderful on there. It's gonna be to die for. All right, fill up the water pan. All right, let's get these meaty ribs on there. Oh my gosh, look at this. Whoa, that's beautiful. I think I'll put one on the bottom section and 2 on top. I try to keep the ribs towards the center of the grill so that they're not getting that external heat. There you go. Let's get the sauce on there. Wait, you guys hear that? Yeah, I think I hear angels singing. Woohoo! Okay, let's just chat about barbecue sauce for a second here, because that's a key component. Now, I tend to like a sweet, tangy barbecue sauce, kind of like me. So right now, I got this sort of brown sugar barbecue sauce, sort of a Kansas City style. I'm cheating tonight and using the store-bought. However, I do like to spice it up to make it my own. I tend to put a bit of honey. The honey, when you put it on that last hour, it really bakes in there, makes it all bubbly, wonderful. It's a good addition, add a little honey. And then also I get chipotle peppers in adobo sauce. They come in a can, usually in the Asian food section of your supermarket. I don't have the can to show you here, but I'll usually break up the can and freeze it into little sections because I don't use a whole can at once. But I'll throw in some of that chipotle pepper sauce in there, and that and the honey, a little bit of tanginess from the barbecue. It's gonna be good. Okay, I'm mixing up my sauce in a bottle here. I'm gonna give it a little shot of apple cider vinegar in there too. Give it a nice zip. That's, I guess, the southern boy in me coming through. All right, it's 11:30 p.m. I'll see you guys in a couple hours. All right, guys, it is the following night. I didn't have time to video this morning, so I'll catch you up to speed on what happened. You know, everything was going great. The ribs were looking beautiful. So I'm like, oh, I'll just close my eyes for a little bit and sleep a little bit. Of course, I oversleep. I woke up just going, ah, like the ribs. So I ran out to check them, and instead of being on the fire like 7 hours, they were on there for about 8.5 hours. It's like an extra hour and a half. Turns out they're still awesome. But I'll tell you, when I first realized, I was distraught this morning. I was so upset. I'm like, oh, I burnt my ribs. And they looked a little well done on the outside, but you know what? As soon as you cut into them, they were still just beautiful, beautiful inside. I'll show you a picture. You know they're ready when you go to lift up half of them and the other half just breaks off. They're just so tender, falling apart. I brought them into lunch today for work. And I'll tell you, I had the whole office salivating because that smell of that smoky rib smell was just permeating through the office. I felt so bad for everybody, but they were so good. You gotta try these, they are killer. Now I just popped these out of the refrigerator so they don't look as juicy and wonderful as they will be when you heat them up a little bit. You can see that beautiful smoke ring in there. The meat is just perfect inside. Like I said, they are just fall apart tender. These just need a little bit of a reheat. I'm actually surprised there's even any left because we were wiping them out today. All right, these ribs instantly make the whole house smell like smoke. It is the best smell ever. I'm about to dig in here. This is the way they should be. These are beautiful. Look, they just pull right apart. Super moist. The bone comes out perfectly clean. Just lovely. Oh, look at that. That's the way ribs should be. Very hard to find ribs like that in the store. I just gotta take a bite of this. I can't even wait a second longer. Look, this is all just meat. The meat just comes right off cleanly. Nice and pink from the smoke inside. And it's awesome. Oh. Got a nice bark on the outside. Super flavorful. That's the best part right there. That's my favorite part. But you gotta try to smoke some ribs. You will not regret it. All right, Vital Pointers. Catch you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in. You guys are awesome. See you soon. Oh yeah, the full recipe is down below. Just check it out. And while you're there, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget, keep lots of napkins around when you're dealing with this wonderfulness. Oh my gosh.